Pro Extra is the Home Depot's free loyalty program built for pros. Members earn perks just for shopping, like new Pro Extra dollars or tool rental perks. Get exclusive benefits every day that save time and money. And here's an extra, $20 off your next in-store purchase of $200 or more, just for signing up. Want to save? Join Pro Extra, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Visit the Pro Desk in-store at homedepot.com/proextra for details.
It's easy to find flooring online, but imagining those floors on your floor, a bit trickier. So Lumber Liquidators made Picture It, which adds our floors to a photo of your space. Just point, snap, and choose a floor. It's great if you're looking for new floors. Also, still fun if you're not. Try Picture It, only at llflooring.com. These are the floors homes are built on. Get free samples of your favorite floors sent to your home. Visit llflooring.com to order today.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Thank you for downloading Beer Nuts for free on iTunes or from ChristopherMedia.net. Please make sure to rate Beer Nuts 5 stars on iTunes and help to tell others about Beer Nuts by leaving a comment. Thank you for following Beer Nuts on Twitter at Beer Nuts Podcast and on Instagram at Beer Nuts Podcast. Please like the Beer Nuts Podcast on Facebook to like and share Beer Nuts. If you'd like to donate to Beer Nuts, you can click on the PayPal button at ChristopherMedia.net. If you use Amazon.com, please click and bookmark the Amazon link at ChristopherMedia.net. It will not cost you any extra money, and you will help to support Beer Nuts. If you're looking to launch your own website, please click through the HostGator banner at ChristopherMedia.net. Christopher Media uses HostGator to host all of the shows produced by the Christopher Media Network. When you click through the HostGator banner at ChristopherMedia.net and sign up for HostGator, you are helping to support Beer Nuts. TheBroBasket.com. Guys are tired of all those boring socks and ties. BroBasket is the answer to the age-old question, what do I get a guy? We know that choosing the perfect gift for a man is a difficult task, but not anymore. TheBroBasket.com is here to help. We all know men are hard to shop for, but what do guys actually like? Their favorite alcohol, that's what. It could be craft beer, wine, whiskey, scotch, or tequila. TheBroBasket.com will put it in a gift basket full of their favorite gear and goodies. You can customize your own BroBasket or choose from a variety of different BroBaskets, like the Ultimate Import Sampler, the Jack and Coke gift set, or the Junior Executive gift basket. Boozless but still cool BroBaskets are also available. TheBroBasket.com gives you many shipping options to choose from, including rush delivery and Saturdays. 21 and over, please. State and local laws apply. Beer, wine, and liquor are not available for shipping in all states. You can help to support Christopher Media by clicking through the BroBasket.com banner at ChristopherMedia.net. Alcohol gift baskets. What men really want. Men used to be hard to shop for. TheBroBasket.com.
Christopher Media, let's make some noise. Welcome to Beer Nuts, a weekly excursion into the world of craft beer. Brought to you by MichiganBeerGuide.com. And now, here are the Beer Nuts.
Welcome to episode number 65. Right? A couple years away from retirement. I'm Chris. With me from MichiganBeerGuide.com is JR.
Good to be back.
Dugout.
Hey, great to be back with you guys. It's been too long.
Yeah, I know, right? Joining us again, our MVL, or MVBN, whatever. Our most valuable listener, 2016, Greg, joining us once again.
Hello, everybody. Great to be back.
Yeah, and it's, these shows are starting to get a little bit more scattered, but life happens, beer festivals happens. Hopefully we'll give you a little bit more content here in the month of June, but we are now at the end of the, try that again. We're at the end of the month of May, and we all know what that means. It is Memorial Day, and this week we are going to be focusing on Memorial Day beers, which is pretty much what we're going to be drinking this weekend. Found a beer quote. Start things out here. Pretty simple quote. Also, long holiday weekend, it's pretty apt. If you pour 2 beers in one glass, it's just 1 beer.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah, I'm on board with that whole theory. Definitely.
Amen.
So does that mean if you don't let your glass run out, it's still only 1 beer?
I am very on board with that line of thinking. The beer never runs out. It's still the same beer.
The eternal beer. Bottomless beer.
But so we're just gonna get going right away. I got 1 beer. Greg's got 1 beer, but JR and Dugout and true beer nut fashion, both have a couple chambered. So we're going to start with JR right off the bat.
Alrighty now. Well, we figured we'd start out with something light and refreshing, sessionable, pretty much that something a little bit maybe out there. But this is a beer that was kind of retired and went extinct for a few years. It's from the great state of Wisconsin. It's called New Glarus Strawberry Rhubarb. Now, this was a very popular beer for many years, and a couple years ago, kind of an uproar when they just stopped making this stuff. And it used to be available only in the big 750 milliliter bottles. Well, I guess the popular demand brought it back, and now, thankfully, it's available in 12-ounce bottles. And I was very fortunate because you can only buy this in the state of Wisconsin. But as many of our listeners know, beer nuts are connected, and we've had some mules bring us some from faraway lands. So I'm tired of talking about beer. Let's get down to tasting it.
And if you go all the way back to episode 23, we have an episode on fruit beers, and from what I remember, New Glarus, very esteemed, I should say, in the fruit beer game.
Yes, they kill it. They really kill it in their own special way. I mean, some of their beers are just super sweet, like over-the-top dessert-type beers. Others are tart, and they're getting into more sours. And I've always admired them for what they do.
Well, as I am pouring this, I'd like to invite all our listeners, as we always do, to crack open a cold one, whatever you're enjoying. We're not pretentious. If you want to drink a Coors Light with us, that's fine. If you want to have something a little bit more sophisticated, that's encouraged as well. But we don't want to scare anyone away. We're just normal, everyday guys that are trying to spread the gospel of better beers and to have people try more things and expand their horizons. So I just poured myself a glass of this. It's a kind of like it's a murky, dark pink. Best way to describe it. With even the head on this is a little pink to it. So it almost looks like it would be like a rosé wine with it, although there is a very healthy, frothy head on the top. So I'm going to go take a whiff of this. And as you would expect, it smells fruity. Definitely getting that strawberry aroma. So let's take a sip. I've only had this beer one time, and it was like 4 or 5 years ago. And it was at a tasting where there were several other things, so I really have no benchmark to put this against. But it tastes delicious. It's very easy to drink. There is a little bit of tartness, a little bit of sweetness. You got that strawberry. You can taste rhubarb. It's a delicious, easy drinker. It's not strong. I'm not sure of the ABV on this, but I guess it's probably 5 or under. We can do a little research, go online. I don't see it on the package. But all in all, it's just it's almost a little bit more sophisticated than a wine cooler or a malt-based cooler like a Seagram's that you get. There's a lot more going on with this. But on that same note, this would be an easy drinking like soda pop beer, for example, like someone like my wife who normally doesn't drink any beers at all, but enjoys some of the sweeter stuff. So I think this would be a very approachable beer for just about anybody to try. It's not overly sweet. It's not overly tart. It's right in the middle. It's very pleasant to drink. I wish I could share some with you guys so you could give me your comments, but let me take a few more sips, see if I can get anything out of it, and then I'll pass comments on. I know Doug has probably had this since he went to college in Wisconsin.
I'm telling you, Beer Advocate is saying 4% ABV.
Yep, that's right about what I would expect. So, yeah, it's almost like strawberry pop, but with a little bit more sophistication. Very, very nice effervescence to it. I think the mouthfeel is what makes this a home run. It's not like cloyingly sweet or anything. It's got that nice bubbly effervescence, almost like a champagne. And it's delightful, easy to drink, not strong, 4%. Perfect for a long day outside. So glad I have 7 more bottles of this, and it's delicious.
Man,
and at 4%, you can actually drink a few and not be falling over. If you have a nice hot sunny day, it's a nice sessionable drink.
That's what you need. We joke about lawnmower beers, but that's what you need for extended periods like that. Because I'll tell you what, a couple weeks ago, I was mowing the lawn and drinking some Brother Benjamin from Greenbush. Not one of my best decisions. Get about 2 in, and I just want to give up on mowing the lawn. Like, screw this. I'm sitting on the porch.
Well, here's what I can say about beers like the strawberry rhubarb is, after 1 or 2, you're probably not going to want to have too many of them because they do have some a lot of acidity and tartness that builds up as you drink them. So by your second, you're ready for another beer, something else.
Well, I just like to read a little bit from the website as my, my trademark. Teased from the loam by the kiss of the sun, Mom's strawberry rhubarb delights are the happy memories of childhood. Diploma Master Brewer Dan employed juicy sweet strawberries to tame the barbaric wild tart fermentation of rhubarb. Escaped from the far corners of neighboring yards, local rhubarb was incorporated into the wild sour fermentation to create this drinkable dream. Bright, sour, and effervescent. So, yeah, it's calling it a wild ale, a sour, but there's enough sweetness here to make it, it's tart, no doubt about it, but this is one of the, most approachable sours I wouldn't even classify it as a sour. The bottom line is delicious, and I'm glad I have more of these. And I might even be able to share some with you guys.
Man, I got to get my hands on some new Glarus. You guys have just made it sound like every fruit offering from them is a home run. Maybe you have to...
It is kind of, though.
Wander over to Wisconsin. What amazes me is we're right next door, and it doesn't make it into Michigan at all? Like, not even the UP?
They used to sell in Chicago, and they pulled out of Chicago market, 100%. They were getting squeezed out for one of those pay-to-play deals, and they pulled out of all states and just decided to focus on Wisconsin only. And I think in some regards, their willingness to do something like that, to not get bigger than they are, has been great for them in the long run because, there they are, they still are. They just sell beer and a lot of it, and just in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I've been told that as soon as you cross the line, you can go to like any gas station, and their beer is all over the place.
Wow.
Oh, it's everywhere.
So
it's everywhere. It has just as good a distribution as any of the big boys. In anywhere you go in Wisconsin, you're going to find that beer.
Well, I know the last time I went to the Upper Peninsula, my wife had a convention up there, and we were only, I think, 70 miles from the Wisconsin border, and I made the trip just to get some new Glarus, and I came back with several cases of them, and I think I still have about 2 or 3 bombers left, or 750s, I guess they are. So, yeah, it's always worth the extra trip. Look for their other ones, Raspberry Tart. I believe there's another one. The Belgian Cherry one was very good, too.
Mm-hmm. Belgian Red?
Yep, the Belgian Red, that's it. And I believe there's cherries in that one, right?
That's correct. And then there's Serendipity as well.
That's right. Yep.
And that's an apple. That's an apple mixed fruit one, correct?
Apples, cranberries, and cherries. From what I'm reading.
Well,
delicious.
I've been known to sometimes run from wild ales, but not this one. This one I'm running to, and I'll run back to it. I'm actually getting there with the sours. I'm warming up to a lot more of them. So,
hey, is summer sour season? It seems like I've seen a lot more sours in the stores the last month or so.
Well, the big thing with the sours is they're sessionable. So, a lot of them aren't, high ABV, and with the hot weather, that is a good choice. nice fruity, lower ABV sour. So, you can drink them year round, but I would say that it's more, and then you get into the cold weather is when, they call it stout season, and that's when you get into the thick, hearty, dark stuff that we so enjoy. But, these days, you can have a stout in July and a sour in January, and no one blinks an eye. So,
isn't that great, though?
Alrighty, well, thank you, New Glarus. Really happy that they brought strawberry rhubarb back, and I'm looking forward to having more of these. And I think it's time to pass it around to Doug, who I'm sure will be going the hop route.
No, not Doug.
Well, of course. So I guess we're kicking around some ideas, and we thought we'd just make it as simple as possible and say, Memorial Day weekend coming up this weekend. This episode will be airing during it. What beers are you having over the weekend? And at the beginning of the week on Monday, I couldn't tell you. And today I was working out in the East Lansing area of Michigan. And, whenever I go to East Lansing now, there's there's two things that come to mind. One of them is Old Nation Brewery in Williamston, and then the other is Ellison Brewery in East Lansing itself. So I decided to stop at both today and pick me up some beer. First one that we're trying is Ellison, and they're out of East Lansing. What a great, cool little place. I don't know if any of you guys have been there, have you?
I have.
I have not.
I've been there twice.
Well, you know how you go into a place that's a brew pub, and then the tanks are behind the glass, or you go to a place like the Old Coonan where the tanks are just out in the middle of everybody.
Now, when we see those tanks, is that fermenting? Is that all those are? Or what are those tanks?
Those are their fermentation tanks.
Gotcha.
See, but in this place, it's a big warehouse of a brewery, and you go down this dead-end street and pull into this limestone gravel parking lot, and all the way in the back corner, and you walk in, there's like sort of a makeshift bar and some tables, but behind it is the entire brewery operation. It's wide open, so they're all up there brewing beer, and they're running a forklift, and they were filling a bourbon barrel, and all that was while I just sat in there and had one beer and bought 3-4 packs to go. So, wow, what a cool place. Just kind of lead in for Ellison.
They make their own spirits, too.
They do, yeah. So it's a distillery inside as well as a brewery. So they're sort of getting well known for doing New England-style IPAs, the hazy beers, the optical revolution of brewing, as some people have said it. I've heard it called strange things. I mean, people are very passionate about their New England IPAs, and some yay and some nay. But these guys sort of tend to make cloudy beer. This particular one is called OFP, and it's in India Pale Ale. Now, I was told at the brewery OFP is a military reference. And to the best of my deductive reasoning while sitting there sipping a beer on Google on my phone, I figured out it was probably official flight plan. But there's quite a few other things you put in there. They just left it vague so you can figure it out yourself. So OFP India Pale Ale, as I said, of course, a bit hazy. It's very gold, like just as gold as can be. Almost looks sort of Belgian in the way with the gold and the haze and some really nice lacing. And the first sort of sips are sort of like bubble gum almost. Very floral in the nose, and the bubblegum fades quick, and it gets a hot bite like a chunk, It really kind of kicks you at the back of the throat with the hot bite. I think we're at 7.25% on this one. I mean, overall, it's got a pretty dry finish. That hop doesn't linger, but it's just somewhere about 3/4 of the way down. It just like kind of hits your tongue, like smacks it, Great stuff. I like this one.
I had a beer the other night from Ellison. Not to get off the hop trail, but I have to mention this because it was this good. And it was an Islay Scotch-aged beer called Islay. And aged in peated Ardbeg barrels. I mean, it was really lovely, but I mean, not for the weak. I'm a Scotch connoisseur. And let me tell you, this beer was approved by Ron Burgundy. Scotchy Scotch. Love my Scotch. And I wish I had another can of it. A friend gave me a can, and I'm looking for more. It was really good, but I could see how it wouldn't be for everybody. Anyway, just wanted to give him a shout out for that. That was a really interesting and lovely beer that I had from Ellison.
And yeah, as far as Ellison goes, I mean, yeah, they don't always have the same beers on tap. Their cans aren't in regular distribution. You might find them sometimes around East Lansing. Probably not much into Lansing itself, so that's about their scope of their distribution with it. But what a cool place. And just really chilled out. People hang there. It's sort of a mix of students and literaries and working people, and it's really a nice, cool place.
I agree. I also heard I was there on a Sunday one time passing through after umpiring a softball tournament, and they actually have, since they distill there, they have a Bloody Mary, make your own Bloody Mary bar.
Oh, those are
Sundays.
great, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with their own vodka that they distill there. So, yeah, I really enjoy the vibe there. Really a cool place. You know, everything's all hands on. You can see everything, all the brew kettles, and very, very cool place. Highly recommended to anybody passing through East Lansing to find these guys doing some great things.
Yeah, I'm an hour away. Shame on me. I got to get there.
Get there.
Well, there's places in my own backyard I haven't been to, so.
Take the Grand River Cruise, M43.
There you go. Yeah, I got some cans last time I was at the brewery. I got some Relativity and some Tiramisu Stout, which was really good. It tastes just like the Italian dessert. Mm-hmm. So, yep, great brewery.
When you type Ellison into Google, Tiramisu Stout is one of the first things that comes attached to it. So
it's a good one.
Must be a pretty big thing up there. Or in
that
general.
and get me some of that juice. That's sort of one of their flagships.
Right on. Mm-hmm. Got to check these guys out. So we're going to go from Lansing to Kalamazoo. We're staying in Michigan. One time when I lived in Kalamazoo, I had a friend who was going to come out to visit me. His dumbass ends up in Lansing. Calls me, hey, I'm here. I'm like, he's talking about I-69 and stuff. I'm like, well, no, you are in the wrong city. But so now to Kalamazoo, Bell's Brewery. We talked about, remember when we did our episode on Bell's way back in the beginning? Remember we talked about Bell's was put out a press release that they were going to start making this stuff again. I have Pool Time Ale. Funny story, Greg and I picked the same beer.
Sure did, didn't we?
But Greg has more beers in his fridge. So, but the way I picked my beer, pretty similar to you there, Dougout. I had no idea what I was going to be drinking this weekend, and I did a clean out and organization of the garage the other day, which we all know is not, an hour job. Went to the store, saw this there, picked it up, fell in love with it. This is just great, delicious beer. It is according to the package, a Belgian-inspired wheat ale with cherry juice. After about 8 of these things, not today, just in general, I mean, I can tell you that is dead on. I mean, the nose, you're getting some of that cherry. You can tell it's got the scent of the Belgians, if you will. You're getting the hint of banana on the nose. I mean, the mouthfeel. It's somewhere on the other side of crisp and a little bit before medium as far as the mouthfeel and the taste. I mean, it's the cherry comes right back at you at the end. So you gotta like tart. If you don't like tart, I mean the banana of the Belgian yeast kind of cuts it. But if you don't like tart, this isn't for you. And I mean, it's nothing crazy like a sour or anything like that. But this is smooth drinking. It is delicious. It is as I like to say, it is as advertised. And for me, that's the best. That's the best you can do. Tell me what it is, and then be what you say you are. And this beer, this is a home run. There's a lot of this beer in my future this summer. It's 5% ABV, so it's a little bit more than sessionable, but it ain't gonna get you too much. Some would say 5% is sessionable. But good job, Bells. Now, wasn't this a kind of a one-off they put out a few years ago, and it kind of made it back, or does anyone know the history on this, really?
I can't say that I do. I can tell you that I've seen stacks of this in stores and bypassed it. I really haven't paid much attention to it. I saw Pull Time. I just figured it was a sessionable ale. I had no idea there was cherries in it. It sounds like wonderful. I'm really glad that you reviewed it, because next time I see a box of these, I'll probably grab some.
I'm going to get some before the weekend's out, so thank you.
I thought it was going to be a pale ale that was ready for all that, and then I read what it was. I'm like, oh, I'm going to try this, and I'm glad I did.
Well, and I'm looking at the picture of the can, and it's got 2 cherries right on it after Pull Time, but I never... glad we're spreading the gospel of this one. I'm glad that you're spreading it, Chris. I am going to quickly read from their website for you. Pull Time Ale is a refreshing Belgian-inspired wheat ale with light clove notes. The truly distinguishing feature is the use of 100% Montmorency tart cherries grown in the Traverse City region of Michigan. These cherries add a subtle tartness and bright counterpoint to the other flavors, enhancing Pull Time's fruity character and making it the perfect beer for all summer activities. ABV 5.2%.
And if you know anything about Montmorency cherries, they have medicinal values to them. So I'm not going to go into all the details of it, but for people that suffer from gout, a heavy diet of those things will keep your symptoms at bay for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
See, we're getting healthy and we're drinking beer.
Exactly. Health benefits of beer.
I like it.
We're here to preach the word, man.
Yeah, I would like to give an honorable mention to my other summertime beer, Short Soft Parade. But hey, if you get that stuff on draft, it's like wine. It is dangerous.
It's deadly.
Yeah.
It is my sister's favorite beer, bar none. But, man, after 3 of those, just look out.
Yeah. All right, Greg, we picked the same beer, so now it's your turn. Let's see what you came up with.
Yes, sir. Are you talking about Pull Time here, or are we talking about my next one?
Your next one.
My next one is Lizard King out of Chicago. I believe the neighborhood is northwest of the downtown area where the brewery is located. I had 2 4-packs picked up for me by a family member that was passing through Chicago, so I was very grateful for that. Pipework's Lizard King is a mosaic hopped pale ale. I believe it's 6%. Comes in a crazy looking can with lizard going all crazy on it, with some cool cartoonish looking graphics. But the beer itself pours a nice, hazy golden color with a nice, fluffy white head, and the smell on it, it's got some citrus, and with mosaic hops, you get a little bit of like a berry undertone. The taste itself, it's got a little dankness, citrus as well in there. Nice mouthfeel to it, nice herbal bitterness to it. Delicious beer, very crushable, especially for 6%. I certainly wouldn't want to be chugging a few of these back too quickly. I'll be feeling the effects with no time for sure. So I love this beer. I'm hoping in a few weeks I'm going to be back through Chicago myself, and I'll definitely stop by and pick up more of these. So,
well, great. We love Pipeworks around here. I mean, I worship Pipeworks beers.
Yes,
and we've had a few on the show. I think maybe about 3 different ones.
Yeah, I think definitely not the first time I've heard the name of that brewery.
But man, they kill it. They're double IPAs, and they do crazy fruit beers, cucumber saisons, and they just push the boundaries. And not everything is a home run, but they have home run beers, and that's one of them. Lizard King is, and Ninja vs. Unicorn is iconic as a double IPA. So, man, those guys are just doing they're the Midas touch of brewers, man. They were originally cast themselves as gypsy brewers, so they wouldn't do the same batch ever again. And then they sort of, as their careers advanced and their brewery advanced, they had to figure out they needed to do some more beers.
Yeah, absolutely.
A couple of times,
And glad they are.
Let's not forget the Abduction series. Those are among my favorites. Vanilla Abduction, Cinnamon Abduction.
Coffee Abduction.
Pipework featured prominently in episode 42 on Chicagoland Beers.
I've been abducted by a few of those beers.
Yeah.
But when I go to Chicago, that's the first section I check. Pipeworks. Number 2 is Spiteful. And then whatever else is around. Half Acre.
Two
keep going in the
breweries,
liquor stores.
End of list.
The Microphone, I guess, is another big one.
Yep.
Dugout has been very kind to share plenty of Pipeworks beers with me, because whenever we exchange beers, oftentimes Pipeworks, with an honorable mention to Spiteful, are in his hall when he returns from the Windy City. So I appreciate that, Doug. Without that, I probably wouldn't know so much about Pipeworks.
Well, and I believe they opened a tap room and their own retail store. So a lot of what you were probably used to seeing in retail outlets, a la Benny's, maybe not as many flavors because they're saving more for their own retail store. Which, hey, why not? I mean, if it go to the source for the best, right?
Amen.
And that 4-pack was in their 16-ounce cans. It came as a 4-pack, like I said, and from what I understand, it was pretty reasonable pricing. I believe it was $10. So I mean, really, that is a great price, and yeah, definitely. Like I said, I'll be stopping there hopefully in 3-4 weeks and giving them a visit myself.
Well, that'll be a good beer to have this weekend for sure.
Oh yeah.
All right. So we stayed on the I-94 corridor. Where we heading next, JR?
Oh, we're going south. We're going way south down the I-75. I'm kind of going backwards here because we're doing Memorial Day beers. But last weekend, I happened to take a golf trip with a large group of 17 other golfers. There's 18 of us down in Kentucky.
Good Lord.
Wow.
And while I was down there, well, first of all, the first day it rained, so we ended up going to a distillery, the Willett Distillery, so that was really interesting. But when we first started golfing, I found this beer that they had in the clubhouse, and I ordered one. It's called Shotgun Wedding from Boy Brewing in Lexington, Kentucky. And it is a brown ale aged on vanilla beans. I said, that sounds pretty interesting. I'll take one of those. So I had one, and it was like an epiphany, unbelievable. I was expecting just, like just an ordinary brown ale, maybe just a little bit touch of vanilla. But, I just became obsessed with this beer. I had one in the clubhouse, really liked it. There was a little bar in the clubhouse, and that became my staple for the weekend. And I was disgruntled when I went out and the cart girl didn't have it on her cart. So I said something to her, and within an hour she was back, and the rest of the trip she had plenty on the cart for me. So I'm sure their depletions went up because I had quite a few of these. But I liked it so much that on Sunday on our ride back, I stopped by a store and grabbed a couple 6-packs of it. So it's called Shotgun Wedding. It's got a picture of like an old pickup truck on the front, which is the Country Boy logo on their logo for the brewery. So let me just crack this open and tell you what I'm tasting. Honestly, I wasn't expecting much. A brown ale is a brown ale. It's a good, easy to drink, enjoyable beer. But this, like I said, was an epiphany. So I just poured it in the glass. I'm getting, typically what you would look for in a brown ale, kind of like it's brown, but maybe a dark ruby. You can see light shine through it. It's not completely opaque. You can see through it, but it's pretty dark and like a dark reddish to brown. Very nice head that does not dissipate quickly. It's a very healthy carbonation on it. But then you smell it, and you can smell a little bit of nuttiness, but you can smell the vanilla. And this is the key to this beer, is that there's a significant amount of really good vanilla. But we've all had vanilla beers that tasted like fake vanilla. Well, this is not one of those. This is like true vanilla goodness. So when I smell that, I just can't wait to take a sip, so I'm going to start drinking it. And there it is. It's it really is. It's just a consistent, good, solid brown ale. But just after you about 3 seconds goes by, you get that nice little vanilla finish to it. It's just delightful. We take another sip. Oh man, that's good. So yeah, it's hard to get excited about a brown ale normally, although. Dougout and I worked for Newcastle for years, and back in the day, that was a pretty darn good beer, too. But this takes it to another level with the vanilla beans. And I'm just going to read from their website very quickly. Shotgun Wedding, vanilla brown ale, style dark brown ale, a malty brown ale conditioned with real vanilla beans. This beer was made for a friend's wedding with no intention of ever making it again. The folks at the reception had other plans. The use of real vanilla beans is costly and time-consuming, but one sip and you will understand why. So I guess they kind of stumbled on this by accident, and I'm glad they did because I'm always up for a Kentucky Shotgun Wedding. Cheers, everybody. And if you ever get down that way, cross the border in Covington, Kentucky, if you're in the Cincinnati area, because I bought mine at the border, on the Kentucky side at a little liquor store. I think you probably get this pretty easily once you're within the borders of Kentucky. And it's a real treasure that I think it probably flies under everybody's radar. It wasn't expensive. It's like $10 for 6 12-ounce cans. It's just one of those hidden gems that I happened to stumble upon. And I had other options I could have shared for this weekend, but I really wanted to share this with you guys and with our listeners. So Shotgun Wedding, great beer. Oh, I might add it pairs well with Kentucky bourbon as well.
Oh, it's a rumor.
Yeah, we had.
It's a rumor that's proven to have been true.
Yes.
Yes, I did get a nice bottle of Willet Rye whiskey at the distillery. It was a family estate bottle that you can. It's fairly hard to obtain, and I came back with half a bottle, so I shared it with some of the other guys on the trip. But let's just say there were some pretty good hangovers on that golf trip.
Tea times are all at like 2.
Oh no, 10.
Oh yeah, that's.
Whereas normally they would be 7:30, but on this trip 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Well, so yeah, for golf that is a late tea time, 10 a.m. That is sleeping in for golf.
We pretty much got our 18 in, and then we played like a 9-hole scramble in the evening, and in between, just lots of beer and whiskey, cigars, steaks on the grill. They had filet mignons for $8.99 at the grocery store by us. We think it was a mistake, but we ate filet mignons for 3 days.
So I'd have bought them all immediately.
I actually went to the store on our way out of town, and they were sold out.
There you go. All right.
So that's what we got there. Thank you, Kentucky.
Now, Dougout, for our final beer that you can get, listener. Where are we heading, Doug?
Well, we're heading back into the East Lansing area.
Back up 75.
Actually back on 43. You take 75 back up north and then head out 96. And at some point you're going to head out to M43, which is Grand River. And we've done some Old Nation beer. We've done at least one Old Nation beer before. And this is our second. And I had the privilege, as I said earlier, to be able to stop there today. And it's an interesting situation with these guys. Normally they would do a can release. Their brewery would become mobbed. The whole town would be infiltrated. And it's a small little town. The whole town would be infiltrated with all these beer geeks coming from all over the place to come and buy their case allotment. Well, now they've gotten into distribution. So a little bit of that lure of driving to the brewery is gone for a lot of people because they can go to their local store and buy it for pretty much the same cost. I happen to be driving through there today and thought, well, what do they got? And I pulled in and there they had Boxer IPA, Boxer New England IPA, as it's called. And this was my first time having it. It was today. It's called their New Orthodox IPA series, 7. And check this out. I mean, what brewery does this all on the front of their can is 7% alcohol by volume, 60 IBUs. It's a 16-ounce can. The malt is Pils, Vienna, Munich, wheat, and oat. Wheat and oat are commonly used in New England IPAs as they tend to attract the hop particles. I don't know the whole science behind it, but I know that those specific grains used in a beer will make it hazy because the protein particles attached to the whatever. I'm going to give that up right now. So
you want to start look at the science at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, really. The wheat.
Yeah. We need Bill Nye on the show, don't we?
Yeah.
The wheat and the the wheat and the oat malts basically make it hazy.
All right, yeah, we'll leave it at that. So let me get the glasses up a little closer. This printing's small. So the boil hops are Equinox, Mosaic, and the dry hops are Mosaic, Citra, and Amarillo. So this pours very similar to what the my previous beer did, OFP. They look nearly identical. The Boxer is a little darker and a lot hazier. Right off the nose, you get sort of pineapple and mango, just really strong tropical fruit on the nose. And it pours really just like a beautifully drawn draft beer. All right, first sip is I get some tartness, but not in a sort of sour beer way. I mean, almost tart hops, like lemony hops, but settles in. It's got a nice little bite to it. And then you get this sort of mellow, smooth, creamy finish that New England IPAs are known for. It sort of reminds me of nitro, but it's not nitro gas in it. Does that make any sense to you, JR?
Yeah, sure. It's the mouthfeel. It's like a soft, really smooth mouthfeel, with a little bit of medium to full body with it from that, again, from those oats and wheat.
Yeah, it really rolls off the tongue so easily. And whereas the OFP was sort of a crisp, dry finish, the Boxer, I think, finishes off a little more fruitier, a little sweeter on the finish. But wow, what an outstanding beer. I was blown away. And like I said, I hadn't had it until today. I've had a lot of Old Nation stuff and really feel like I was lucky in the right place at the right time to be able to buy a bunch of cans at the brewery because that almost never happens, So, yeah, that one's being drank this weekend, big time.
Yeah, I bought some of this last week, and I tasted it against the M43, and I actually like the M43 better, but they're two different beers. I almost wish I haven't tasted them against each other because it might have had something to do with which one I tasted first. But they're definitely sweeter, almost more, maybe more full-bodied, with looking for like a biscuity mouthfeel. Came with that sweeter, and with a biscuity mouthfeel, is what I recall. But they're both outstanding beers, and we're really fortunate to be able to get these in Michigan. And all these beer snobs been trading for years with the grave robbers up in Massachusetts, stocking up on the Treehouse and Trillium beers. Well, now we don't have to go that route. We have right in our backyard, our own Michigan beers. It's great to see that happen, and kudos to the brewery for ramping up production. They actually bought an extra tank and brewing more of these beers, and more seeing distribution throughout the whole state, which is really great job by them. The one other thing I'd like to add is that the brewery is very customer service friendly. If you had maybe one with a bad batch, or a can that they had a lot of sediment at the bottom, they'll always make it right with you. If you reach out to them on social media, they react right away, and they're very customer friendly, and that's really a delight to see in today's world. I know stories of some other breweries that aren't so kind that way, but they really want you to enjoy their beer, and they want every customer to be happy with it, and they'll do whatever they can to make it right when occasionally there is a hiccup somewhere. So kudos to Old Nation Brewery. We're really proud to have you in Michigan, and I look forward to many more of your beers. I actually tried for the first time their double IPA, which just came out recently, called Boss Tweed, and that was also phenomenal. So these guys are doing great things, and we're really happy to have them, and very impressed with all their beers. So great job, Old Nation. Thank you, Dougout, for sharing with us.
Oh,
Boxer.
yeah. I mean, I always, and I echo your sentiments exactly about the service. I mean, when you go in there and they're kind of slammed for lunch, and you just happen to be in there to buy some 4-packs or whatever, they take the time and ask you what you like. And, it's like, there's like two people working in there racing all over the place, and they come up and they couldn't be nicer. That's tips the scale so far for me, because none of us like to be treated rudely, and I'm not saying that anybody does out of, on purpose, but it just seems to be rooted in their beliefs to be just some of the nicest people I've ever run into in that place.
Absolutely, and same thing with social media. You're not just hearing. I mean, you're talking like management of the company, owners, brewers. They're on there, and they're responding to each and every comment when there's an issue. So they're very accessible, and I'm on Twitter a lot, and they're always liking my tweets whenever I have something kind to say about the beers, and very, very interactive with their customer, which is very, very refreshing. And I think, Greg, you've probably seen some of that too.
Oh, indeed.
You're
for sure
in the Twitterverse.
Oh, yeah, the famous Twitterverse, yes, sir.
Yep. So I know, when I posted that a positive comment on the Boss Tweed, they retweeted it and liked it, and just last night. So keep doing what you're doing, Old Nation, and we'll keep drinking. So,
Amen.
Speaking of drinking, I think we're down to our last beer of the night, and it's the one I've been looking forward to the most, ironically. So I'm going to let the brewer talk about it. Doug, tell us about your latest homebrew.
All right, so what we have is a double rice IPA. And I think we've mentioned Kuhnen's Drippa before, meaning double rice IPA. There's other breweries that have done them. I believe I've reviewed a Burnham Brewery double rice IPA as well. So it's double rice IPA with all New Zealand hops. Went really simple on the malt build. There's about 15 pounds of 2-row and a pound of C60 caramel malt. So the hops go like this: Super Alpha, which is also known as Dr. Rudy, and that's a very high alpha acid, so that's in there for the bittering. So Dr. Rudy. Kahatu is a New Zealand hop that has properties of pineapple and mango, and then I also have Motueka hops, which are sort of lemon lime. So it's that combination of the citrus fruits with the high alpha acid bitter in it, the rice, and JR. You know what? I'm just going to turn it over to JR from here because I can talk about my own stuff, but I want to hear somebody else talk about it.
Well, the first thing I want to note is the beautiful appearance of it. It's pretty dark. I guess the caramel malts you put in, the crystal malt gets the color, but yeah, it's a nice, deep, like kind of like a ruby, dark orange ruby. Really nice carbonation, nice lacing. You can smell that little lemony citrus, but as soon as you take a sip, I mean, the hops really kick in. The aroma kind of tricks you because, it's a nice light, citrusy aroma. But man, I mean, it's a hop kicker, man. What's the IBUs on this thing? Do you have any idea?
217.
No, it's not in that like ridiculous category. This beer is
I'd say probably 70 or 80.
Yeah, it's probably in that 70 to 80 range. I'm going back up to my little brew store up in Midland, Michigan, and I'll get an exact. I will be able, from what I brew, to be able to get the exact IBUs out of it. But yeah, I'd say 70, 80. It's a tricky beer, man, and I'm glad you said that because it tricks me all the time. When you think you think it's smooth and really, and then the hops kick into the back. It's just sort of, they have a delayed reaction, very subtle in the beginning. But the other thing is, as this beer warms and as you drink it, the hop builds on your tongue, and you get to a point where like, oh man.
Hey, well, I'm not complaining. It's a really good hop kicker here, but you can tell there's the finish is dry, but the flavor lingers for quite a while. Like you said, I mean, it doesn't go away. It's on your tongue for 10, 20 seconds.
And
I can't get over the difference between the aroma and the aroma is really deceiving. I mean, you don't expect it's going to like hit you that hard with the hops, but it wallops you once you start drinking it.
But they come in, they sort of fade in. Like you don't get that initial like hop bomb burn that you do. If
there's no burn at all. There's no burn at all. It's I'm still discovering it. It's pretty complex, man. I'm getting like 4 or 5 different stages of different flavors. It's layers of different. It's really delightful, and I love the New Zealand hops. I've never brewed or heard of any of the ones you told me, but I guess Galaxy is Australia, New Zealand.
I totally plan on going back to these hops again. Almost a similar recipe, but I'm brewing this weekend. So what are you drinking this weekend? I'm going to kill this keg so that.
Damn.
Well, I don't think there's much left, really. It's been around about 2 or 3 weeks now.
I noticed when I took a couple more sips and I swirled it all around my mouth, and I'm getting a lot of different. Again, it's really complex. I'm tasting a lot of different things, and like that lemony citrus is definitely there. But if you just you got to expose it to all areas of your tongue and mouth to get the full effect here. Yeah, man. Yeah, now that I've adjusted to it, because it was kind of a shock after some of the, remember I was going from a vanilla brown ale to this, so now that the shock is over from such a different flavor profile, and I think also there's something to what you said about, actually maybe letting it warm a little bit. It's opening up a little bit, and
yeah, I was quite pleased with it. I have had, some beers that have been really good, kind of off the charts type of good, but I don't know, man. This one for me seems to take it to a little bit higher level, because of what you're talking about. There's those complexities with the layers in the beer. How many times do you drink an IPA and talk about complexities in layers? You don't really, do you?
No, but I am with this. I'm still discovering. And yeah, there's just 2 or 3 different stages at this. You start out and it's, the initial, it was, for me, I think it was probably because I had the brown ale, but it just kind of knocks you over for a little bit. And then it, when you expose it to the other areas of your mouth and tongue, you get more sensations of different flavors, citrus, lemon. Then you got a little bit of a caramely, layer there.
Yeah, and I think that rice sort of adds some extra body to it. So what we were talking about with the mouthfeel of the previous beer, the Boxer, being really smooth mouthfeel, this has that too. And I think that rice, the rice addition just sort of really added to that, sort of almost like making it more beer gravy than.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Beer gravy.
Beer gravy.
That's like 2 of my favorite things,
right?
in one delicious substance.
Boy, wouldn't that be something for a poutine?
Oh man.
Well,
Oh, Jesus.
I'm telling you though that there's some hops to this, man. There's a lot of hops in here because my nostrils are flaring almost from.
Getting out the Kleenex box.
Yep, I'm about to just.
Yeah, you're gonna sneeze.
We haven't heard any sneezing yet. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll get the hop sneezes off.
How much hops did you put in this?
Well, let me think. Dr. Rudy, 12.9. I think there was 3 ounces there. That was pretty heavy-handed, but I want this stuff's sitting at like 8.7, 8.8%, and you would never know it from what you're drinking. So I needed a hop to kind of stand up to that. Kohatu I probably went 3 ounces and 2 ounces on the other. So all in all, yeah, quite a few. Some were dry hopped. So I think I dry hopped 1.5 ounces. 3 ounces I dry hopped in. There we go.
Man, I need to get my hands on some of this. More homebrewing.
Christopher,
that's part of the reason why I cleaned out the garage.
Christopher, I'm brewing Monday, and if you want to stop over, I'll tell everybody the keg blew, and there'll still be some left. Nice. Or anytime you want to stop over this weekend, I'll have some.
Gotcha. Put that on my list of things to do. All right, too. Wife's working Monday. She's covering her shift.
Oh, yeah. Come over for brew day.
There we go.
Because I'm going to brew. All right. Here's what I thought with this beer. And, I thought the recipe came up great. A couple things I would have changed on it was one of the first things I thought was, wow, what if I made this a black IPA? Wouldn't that be awesome? You could still, just the way the hop layering comes in, and I think you could add a lot of dark malt into this, and it would still hold up really, really well and drink nice.
Great idea. I've often found that, in all the homebrew club meetings I've attended, that's possibly the toughest style to make a good homebrew of. So if you could pull it off using this as a base and maybe darkening up the malt, more power to you. I'm willing to try it because I'm almost tempted to drive up to Clausen and get some from you.
Yeah, not much left. I mean, I pulled off your howler, and I was thinking, oh, let's get low. Let's get low.
Well, I appreciate it because it won't go to waste. I've already on my second one. It's going down good. It's going to be a good Memorial Day weekend, everybody.
Yeah, I agree. There were a couple that we kind of sort of threw out there and we didn't even get to, but maybe just a quick shout out to Brewery Vivant for Devastation, Bourbon Barrel Aged Double IPA. I know I'm having that beer this weekend.
I had one last night. I think it's the best Vivant beer I've ever had. It's phenomenal. That's a tough style to nail, that double IPA in bourbon barrels, and everything is perfectly balanced. They've done a wonderful job with it.
They bourbon barrel aged a double IPA?
Yes, they did, and they got it right. It's a hard style to get.
I say that sounds hard.
Well, Doom's out there, and that's a similar from Founders. That just hit stores.
I'm loving that Doom, too. That's good stuff.
Well, I can tell you this blows Doom away, and that's no disrespect to our friends at Founders, but you got to try to find a can of this stuff. It hit distribution last week. You might still find a few around. It's not cheap. It's like $23.99 for a 4-pack, but worth every dime. It's a Belgian-style double IPA, and you got that banana bubblegum, Belgian yeast in the double IPA, but the barrel is perfectly balanced with that, and it's just like a concert of tropical flavors, tropical fruits, bourbon, and oaky vanilla. And it all just blends right together perfectly. Whereas the Doom, I think, needs a little bit more age. I kind of got a separation where I was tasting different things separately rather than one consistent flavor. Nothing against it. I like Doom. But when I tried this was in another league, at least at this point in time. Yeah, I think Doom will get better with a little bit of age on it. But yeah, both great beers, and another win for us as Michiganders to be able to get access to those. I'll throw an honorable mention out. I have a 6-pack of Slurm from Shorts, which is their New England IPA. Yep. I have a bottle of that here, so I actually bought a 6-pack, so stay tuned. Maybe a future episode I'll mention that, but going to give that one a try. So a lot of great things happening in the state of Michigan, and also that one Kentucky beer I had to mention. So I think we're all poised to have quite a nice Memorial Day weekend. Let's hope the weather holds out. I'm also going to brew this weekend, Dougout. I've made a kind of deal with myself that I'm going to de-emphasize some of the store-bought beers that I've been loading up on over the last couple of years and start getting more into brewing. I have a 4-tap Keyser with nothing pouring in it right now. So I got a London Porter that's been fermenting for 2 weeks and it's ready to keg. So there's keg number 1, and if I can get 1 or 2 batches in this weekend, then I'll go ahead and get my 4th keg. Will be probably a Coonan selection, because I have one line good for commercial beers and 3 for home brews. So my goal is by July 1st, or let's just say by 4th of July, to have 3 different home brews and a commercial beer in my Keyser. And it's time to get down to brewing this summer.
Yeah, we're redoing the house. There's been talk of either somewhere in the basement or somewhere in the garage, a little kind of bar, homebrew kind of area. And
I vote for the garage, Christopher. Yeah. You don't want to be cooking stuff in your basement.
Well, not for cooking, just as far as like a bar to, set aside, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Either way,
isn't that the Michigan way to have your bar in your garage?
It's been cleared and sanctioned by the boss, so it's good to go.
Yeah, I mean, including a big screen TV or whatever you got in there. I mean, my next door neighbors have a wood furnace in theirs, and they don't park any cars in there. It's just a party spot.
Yeah, our whole plan for the garage has nothing to do with cars. Even though we can get 2 cars in it.
Zero.
Our whole plan for the garage has nothing to do with putting a car in it whatsoever. Hey, and I want to... Oh, sorry, JR, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I don't know if any of you guys have seen this on social media. There's a new, it's kind of a new craze. Instead of a man cave, they're having beer sheds. Has anybody seen that?
I'm listening.
I'll have to share it. Yeah, it's like people are putting up sheds, and there's like you put like a couple bar stools out with an opening, and there's like a window, and people sit like outside the shed, and you put like a little like shelf there, and then you got like a little flap that goes down so you can seal it.
So in a sense, it's a tiki bar, just without all the...
pretty much.
I'd love to see
they're
that.
calling it the beer shed.
I'd love to see that. I have a chicken coop
find
in
it.
my backyard. I have a chicken coop in my backyard. City doesn't allow chickens anymore. What else am I supposed to do with it? Right?
I know, right?
Wouldn't
Beer
that
shed.
be cool? Beer shed.
Everybody's got
It's
an
been
answer.
threatened.
Who has a beer shed?
Threatened since we moved in, though. To be fair about it.
I have a
I've
podcast
always
studio.
seen that as somewhere to drink.
I have a podcast studio in the basement. All man cave discussions are closed. All right, I have one already.
I got a
That's the way I look at it.
60-inch flat screen, a beer fridge, a liquor cabinet, and in the back room is where I ferment my beer and in my beer cellar. So, in the case of nuclear war or tornado, I know where I'm holding up.
Yeah. I'm hoping to start brewing a lot more. That was one of the reasons I did finally clean and organize the garage. And I'd like to shout out, what's the brew store next to Coonan, guys? What is the name of that place? I call it
Brewing World.
Brewing World. I'll shout them out because the wife went to go buy me a burner for my birthday, and basically the guy wouldn't let her buy it there. He pretty much, without saying so.
Oh, he told her she had to go to Lowe's and get it, right?
Yeah, he was pretty much, without saying so, he's pretty much telling her, like, listen, the markup here on this is ridiculous. Do not buy this here. He didn't say that to her exactly, but she told me the discussion that he had. He was like, yeah, we all get ours at, Walmart and Lowe's and so-and-so. Pretty much like, yeah, you could buy it here, but, and then you look up the price difference. Like, this guy saved her at least $100. So shout out to Brewing World.
You know what you need to do with that $100?
Go to Brewing World.
There,
yeah.
Go to Brewing World and buy every goddamn thing that you need other than that.
Yes, exactly.
And I probably double your amount. You should buy $200 worth rather than $100 if that's what you save. That's what I would do with it because, and here's what I love about Brewing World is the green and all that is all self-service. So you just go in there like you know what you're doing and write down what you got, and you bring it to the counter, and you grind it the way you want it, you mix it the way you want it. It's great.
And in my case, if you look confused, they ask you questions.
Sure. If you look confused, they're going to help you. But if you just go in and you know what you're doing, they don't care. Just go get your shit and get out, and then go next door and have a beer.
Yeah.
Because that's what everybody does.
Got to buy a Drippa kit, too. They sell the kits of their beers.
Oh, I've done
Exact
some Drippa
recipe.
kits. Yep. And I'll tell you what, that Drippa kit led to this last recipe because, it's a double rice IPA. And they sell the actual, I believe in the beginning they used boxes of Uncle Ben's rice to make Drippa, their double rice IPA. But figured out there's a chemical way to put rice into solids, rice sugar solids. So very similar to corn sugar, putting it in beer. It'll raise fermentable sugar rates. It'll raise alcohol rate. But the difference with the rice, and this is different from a rice adjunct because a lot of, damn it, I'm getting technical again.
Wasn't rice adjunct what the big boys use?
Rice adjunct is what the big boys use. Using a rice sugar compound is different than that. So, anyways, that's what went into there. Double rice IPA is Coonan's big deal, and it is a big deal. If you've never had it, you get to Coonan, get one. It is an awesome IPA.
Yeah, even my friends who aren't really into craft beer, they like Coonan's Drippa.
No, they like Drippa, and it's a funny thing because that beer's sitting at about 9%.
I know,
and
right?
to them, they're just like, oh, this tastes every bit as good as Miller Lite, so I'll drink it just the same way I drink Miller Lite, and that never goes well. We all know that never goes well.
Highly recommended to drink the fluffer and get a growler to go of
if you like coffee.
Of the Drippa, so you can drink it on your couch where you can pass out.
If you like coffee, get the fluffer, man.
Yeah,
well,
I mean,
that's-
the
no,
room,
no, wait,
the
that's
room
Thumper.
spins.
You're right.
The
Thumper's
room
the call.
spins when you're on the dripper.
Yeah.
Fluffer is like the alcohol of Drippa. It's the same beer, basically, only half as much alcohol.
The no fun version?
It's the sessionable version. Let's just say
It's the church version.
Hey, gotcha.
that's if you're going to be drinking all day, you better be drinking Fluffer.
Yeah.
Because there's no way you're drinking Drippa all day. Drippa's a ticket to a nap,
Yes.
but a very enjoyable nap, I might add.
All right. Anything
All right.
else, guys?
Yeah,
Closing
I mean, are we
anyone?
looking at? We're not really looking at breweries of the week and beers of the week, or
My beer of the week is the Shotgun Wedding. We don't have to vote on them. Everybody can just say whatever they want because we don't care. It's a holiday weekend coming up.
Yeah.
I'll be facetious and say my beer of the week is my beer.
There you go.
I think it's a little better than any of the ones I've had tonight, and that's saying a lot about myself to say that about my beer.
Well, I'm already on my third glass, so if that tells you, my vote of confidence is there. So I'll also vote for your beer of this week. So the Shotgun Wedding was my beer of last week.
And hey, if you're looking for a nice entry-level Belgian-style beer, hit up the Pool Time. Like, this stuff is delicious. I'm already on, like, my third can. Like, it's... It only comes in cans, which we have talked about as becoming the... If you're going from a freshness standpoint, isn't can, like, the superior way to keep your beer now?
Yes.
Yes, I mean for the most part, yes.
Blocks out light. Conducts,
Blocks out light. I mean,
cold.
there are some mobile canning units that are still working some of the bugs out. So sometimes you get a can that's not right, and that's just sort of small production type things. I mean, big production beer like Bell's, hell yeah, that can's going to be a lot better.
Yeah.
But Chris, if we could close out the show with a little to honor Greg's beer with the "I Am the Lizard King" from Jim Morrison.
You scour the internet, huh?
Yeah,
It's not hard
so,
to find.
I love that song and I love that beer and I love big beers. I cannot lie.
There you go. I think we all. I am the Lizard King, Jim Morrison.
So we'll
there we go.
close with the Lizard King. I think. Sorry we've missed a few weeks here, but youth hockey season is over for Mr. Hockey Dad here. So I'm getting some of my life back. One more shameless plug for Schoolcraft Brewing. American Harvest beer is now on sale at the college. Students of mine have brewed this beer, and we will be selling beer on Thursdays and Fridays from 4 to 8 p.m. at the college for anybody in the Livonia, Michigan area. Stop on by. I'll be there on Thursdays selling beer to the general population. And we have 10 beers on tap that I can sell in growlers and 4 beers in bottles. So there's my shameless plug for the evening. Drink local, folks.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes, please do. I mean, that's what I really loved about tonight's episode. And I think we stated earlier in the show on Monday, had no idea, but by today I had a damn good idea by today what I was going to be drinking this weekend, and went through a little bit of it tonight. So, but I happened to meet up with JR, and so I still have that. I have the brown ale on vanilla beans, so I get to go through that this weekend. We got the Devastation from Brewery Vivant. So I get to go through that this weekend. Yeah. And I got a Doom, so I get to go through that this weekend. JR, if you could do me a favor, save me that one of those New England Shorts beers. I did not get one.
Yeah, sure thing. Slurm. I'll save you a Slurm.
Swerm.
Don't forget.
Yeah, that one.
Don't forget to sample that Kumquat Gosa that I got.
Oh, I'll get on that one too.
So many beers, and I couldn't bring them all on the show, but
there's probably going to be a few more beers drank this weekend. So
I almost picked that up as a joke. I was like, Kumquat Gosa, I have to buy this, and it's actually really good. Perhaps a future show. We have been talking about doing a Gosa show. We'll probably back-to-back that with something strong. Gosa first show, and then something strong second show. But all right, guys, is it time to go to Mexico yet, or
that was
trying to find Lizard King?
Let me plug our social media, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
At Beer Nuts Podcast on Twitter, at Beer Nuts Podcast on Instagram. You can email the show, Beer Nuts. I think I always do this with the email. I want to say it's beernuts@christophermedia.net. Let me check real quick.
Let's have another beer.
I know, right? It is
Untapped.
It's all Beer Nuts Podcast at ChristopherMedia.net. You can email. Yeah, we have our Untapped account. You can follow the show, see what we're drinking. It's at Beer Nuts Podcast.
You could be the next listener of the year and be on the podcast like Greg.
Oh,
that's how we found him, and now he's a full-fledged beer nut.
Greg's been on the show like 3-4 times at this point.
At least the third time, yeah.
Going strong. That's awesome.
Yeah.
He's already past drinking the chicken blood. He's a full-fledged
and it was tasty. Yes.
And yet, and I've said this for about the last 3 months. We're working on those new glasses. We're working on them. We'll get them.
Yep.
To be combination logo of the Beer Nuts Podcast and Michigan Beer Guy, prominently featured. But until then, thanks everyone. And I'd like to say too, thanks to there's obviously new people finding the show, because I do look at the numbers, and the numbers still sustain even on weeks where we don't put out content. So thank you everybody for that. Who, if you're new, welcome. If you like it, tell somebody. If you're old and you like it, keep telling people, because that's how this thing, it grows and grows, and it's been growing for the last year and a half already. Wow. So with that being said, guys, JR, let's go to Mexico.
time flies when you're having fun. But as they say in old Mexico City, AMS.
If you like this show, please tell a friend. Please follow us on Twitter and like and share us on Facebook by searching for Christopher Media. You can subscribe to all ChristopherMedia.net shows for free on ChristopherMedia.net. Please make sure to rate and comment on all your favorite Christopher Media shows. Thank you in advance for supporting Christopher Media by clicking on the PayPal button and by clicking through to all the sponsors who support ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net, and thank you for listening. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Me, but also you. The Pharaoh fast forwards his favorite foreign film, Powder Donut. Okay, what's my line?
The only line I see here on the script is get options based on your budget with the name your price tool from Progressive.
Oh man, that's a tongue twister, huh? I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a few more minutes. Bulbous Walrus, the Bulbous Walrus.
The name your price tool, only from Progressive.
The owl ran afoul of the comatose coxswain.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Me, but also you. The Pharaoh fast forwards his favorite foreign film, Powder Donut. Okay, what's my line?
The only line I see here on the script is get options based on your budget with the name your price tool from Progressive.
Oh man, that's a tongue twister, huh? I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a few more minutes. Bulbous Walrus, the Bulbous Walrus.
The name your price tool, only from Progressive.
The owl ran afoul of the comatose coxswain.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.